So the birthplace of the city, Prayer in 1837. Some guys got together in a hotel, said, make it a town. And they did. But something happened 10 years before that was much more exciting to a lot of people living near then. A building went up on the point on the right. The point's called Wolf Point. It's just a parking lot today. But the building was the first of its kind in the city, and are people glad to see it. It was called Miller House. It was a tavern. This is the Wild West in 1827. A bar, a tavern, a pub. That's what people are excited about. Its competitor, Wolf Tavern, went up 2 years later in 1829. Right across the river, there's another parking lot. So you bar hopped on a rowboat. Then the Saginash is on the third corner, a tavern with hotel attached, where some other business was attended to in the Wild West of the day. This building on the left, see the curved sheet of glass? Yeah. It's one of Chicago's favorite buildings, built in 1983 by Cohn, Pedersen, and Fox. Perfect example of the two hallmarks of postmodernism. I mentioned one. Looking to the past, it's looking back at Chicago School. Base, shaft, and capital has a stone-clad base, curved shaft, capitals and later sliced across the top. Other hallmark of postmodernism pays attention to where it's at. Curve of the glass echoes the curve of the river. Color of the glass, color of the river. Blade across the top divides the building in half down the middle. Curve here, right angles on the backside on the city grid. I had to get that in quick. I'll explain later.
There's Nick.
Silver being on the right, the Boeing headquarters, Boeing the airplane guys. They moved here from Seattle, Washington, 2001. Still built the planes around Seattle, but the bosses are here now, so they're Chicago based. Building came earlier, built in 1990 by Perkins and Will as the Morton headquarters. Morton, the salt guys. You'll notice it's set back with open parkland and benches and trees. But if you look to the left, that building kind of has its back to the river, kind of ignoring it.
Jen?
There's been a lot of changes to the Chicago River.
Hi.
I'm going to talk more about that later. But traditionally, you don't pay your attention to it. You turn your back on it for reasons that are fairly olfactorily obvious. But now they're paying attention. If the canal I mentioned gave birth to the city, the rails raised it. Every train, north, south, east, west, across the nation came to Chicago, too, not through. You had to get off the train in Chicago, change trains, because you get off the train, you're leaving money behind, buy a meal, entertainment, spend the night, I'm going to build the city. So the city's laced with train tracks, especially along the river. What are you going to do if you want to build gorgeous buildings with its already tracks? You invest in what's called air rights.